Hey, thanks so much for downloading our latest episode. It is football season. Go sports. This, and we talk about things we've overheard in our life, from the airport to the dentist office, and we talk fall trends, ugly fall trends. All of this, plus our ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie.
Maybe she's just a sour old bitch.
Paula. Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 401. We are Sister Soup.
I thought we were doing that.
We're not. I apologize. It's like, it's dumb. I'm sorry. It's almost like on Big Bang Theory where he's all penny, clock, 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 penny, clock, clock, clock. It's like this thing now. It's like this OCD thing in my brain. Stupid. I'll get over it. I'll break the habit. Welcome to the Ugly Truth. I'm Sister Paula. I'm Sister Jamie.
I'm Sister Paula. And I'm Sister Jamie.
Gag. No.
Welcome to Catholic News Network.
Okay, here's the thing. When I first started looking into doing podcasts, I went to the iTunes library or whatever. You can search for podcasts on there. Mm-hmm. And I Googled sister podcasts to see.
So naive.
Yes, to see what other podcasts from sisters would be on there. There are no less than 4 nun podcasts.
Wow.
There are also a lot of podcasts that are sisters, but they're not siblings.
Gotcha.
They're not siblings. And then there's the...
Are doing it right.
And then there's 1 or 2 sisters, sorority sisters.
Oh.
But there's there was one other sibling one, but it was all about parenting and motherhood. And although those are great...
Well, we do talk about that sometimes, but...
We do, but I grow weary because my main title is not mother. It is woman. So it's all encompassing for me.
Right. Not
just motherhood. I get tired of talking about mother. In fact, one of my most favorite comedians started a mothering podcast, like a mom's podcast. So she has like her friends, or she'll have a pediatrician or a child psychiatrist on. All of it's interesting, but it's the same fucking bitching.
Just gets tired, man.
I'm just so tired. I can't pee by myself. And, I always feel like shit. And it's like, it never ends. And I'm like, I don't want to commiserate with this. Okay. I get it, but I don't want to relive dirty diapers.
I mean, it's fun every now and then. Like yesterday, I forget. I belong to a bunch of like little sites, but I think there's this one called Mommy Has a Potty Mouth. And
I've heard of that one.
And so this lady, she had posted, it was like talking about a lady who had posted to some site. And she says, at what age is it appropriate to like stop showering or dressing in front of your son? So a lot of people... I'm just really shocked at the world, but they're just like, well, I stopped, when I noticed my son started to stare. I think he was around 10. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
10?
And then someone else is just like, well, I've never stopped. She's like, my kids see me naked all the time. And so I'm just like.
Your son?
Yeah. And so.
That is inappropriate.
I'm like, if your son's staring at you, I'm like,
that is disgusting.
I'm like, that's like abuse, practically.
Yeah.
And then someone's just
that
like,
is not okay.
She's like, I don't know. I think my son was like 8 or 9, and I'm like, that's
on the edge.
That's
man.
not okay. I said, so I commented, I'm like, I think my son was around 2, and I said, and it was because he asked me why I had 2 butts. Why I had a little butt and a big
front
butt
and a back butt. Yeah.
And so I said, after his father and I were done laughing, I just covered up and said, we'll just talk about it when you're older. And then I never got dressed in front of him again.
You know what? My son, he was definitely under 4.
Yes.
It was not. I think the concern is, for me, is if you are that, there's nothing wrong with being free with your nudity. Like, we are nudists in our home. There's no shame in naked bodies. I get it. Except that little boys go through a phase where they're going to have hormones, and any boob is a boob.
Well, they're curious.
And
yeah.
Once they start seeing your breasts, and it's sexual, which it does happen. It may not be at 10, but it will happen close after that. Then you're fucking him up because now he's masturbating to his mother's breasts in his mind, and now you've created this thing. So when he comes home at 20 with a 50-year-old woman, you will know why.
Well, and it's not uncommon either for young men or teenage boys to have sexual dreams that involve their mother, and
it isn't,
and
it's
disturbing. I mean, for them, it's extremely disturbing. But it's just because the hairs get crossed, in the dream, and they just associate. But I mean, that's just science. When we grow up, we tend to marry our fathers, and boys tend to marry their mothers, and so it just kind of works out that way. But I mean, I don't agree that a grown woman should be walking around naked in front of her teenage son. That
is so unacceptable.
Definitely, and maybe you're fine with it, but who's to say that they're fine with it?
Well, I mean, like I said, you're scarring them sexually.
You need to respect everyone's boundaries, just not your own. So
I don't know, man. I mean, it sounds to me like a lot of women are okay with it.
Yeah, but they may be okay with it. But what about their kids?
Right.
Like I know I walk around the house. Victor made me stop eventually. But I mean, I'd be in the bedroom. I come out in my bra and underwear, and I'd be walking to the laundry room to get clothes. And right about the time I think Ryan was like 11 or 12, he's like, "You really need to stop doing that." I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm covered." He's like, "Yeah, but you're in like." He's like, "It's not like your bra and underwear are ugly." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so he's just like,
"Well,
you just can't be
I have to concur."
Yeah, he's like, "You really can't be like, prancing around." I'm like, "I'm not prancing."
First of all, you're not prancing around.
He says, but, in a guy's mind, they see a girl walk through the house in sexy bra and underwear. Then
I'd be like, "You're protesting too much, you asshole."
So I'm like, all right, I get it. But, recently I've just been wearing T-shirts and underwear because I just don't give a fuck anymore because I'm tired. I don't know. Pants make my stomach hurt. So
I'm not opposed to covering, when my door is shut in my room, I'm naked frequently. But outside of it, I actually sometimes struggle with not wearing a bra. Sometimes I'm like, I think I should probably wear a bra with this shirt.
I don't wear a bra.
A little transparent. Well, it's because it's a little transparent.
Well, I do have some like nightgowns that are kind of silky, and you can definitely see nips, but I just try and actually, I don't try. I don't know. I probably should be a little more conscious, but I'm always talking about my boobs. I know,
but if, like you said, if he's looking at it in a sexual way because of his age, you need to kind of, at least until,
Ryan's absolutely disgusted by me. I mean, he thinks I'm repulsive.
That's an awful thing to say.
Well, I just say when school starts, I'm just like, I always thought I was one of the cute moms. He's like, "Mom, you're not." And I'm just like, "What do you mean?" He's just like, "Mom," he's like, "there's all the other moms that show up in their gym clothes and, all their skin tight spandex and their big butts and their fake boobs." And I'm just like, "Oh, so I'm the drip that's out there with the jeans and the whatever." And I'm
God
just
forbid.
like,
How dare you?
I get it. I'm not the hot mom. I'm the saggy mom now, the old mom. I'm like, fine, I get it.
Just call me OM.
And then he made the comment the other day. He's just like with you, Mom. He's like, when I'm older, and I'm like, "What did you just say?" And Victor's just like, "Ryan, stop now." So he thinks I'm like an old hag.
Well, maybe he's past the phase, so you can walk around in your bra and underwear again.
I don't think he ever. You
never know. I mean, you know what? You never know. I am a bit more conservative when it comes to the way I'm dressed when my kids were little, because I just didn't want to. I mean, I'm already going to ruin them, so I'd rather not add that to it. You know what I mean? I'd rather not add any kind of weird sex thing.
I think I'm too much of a goob or a goofball to be sexual. For example, today in the car on the way to school, 8 Mile, or not 8 Mile, the Eminem song that was in 8 Mile came on. What's it called?
Yes.
One Shot or something like
Lose
that?
Yourself?
Lose Yourself, that's right.
Yes.
Came on, and so I was pretending to rap, so I had a sweatshirt on, I put the hoodie on, I had my sunglasses on, and I pulled it really tight, and I was doing rap fingers. I'm all, "Back to reality, there goes gravity." And I was in his face, and the car next to us, of course, was looking. And he's like, "Mom, stop." He's like, "Please don't do this when we get to school."
Oh my God. No, one of the greatest joys of having a shitbag middle schooler is to embarrass the crap out of him when you drop him off at school. It's the only thing we have. because they're so terrible. They're so terrible that they're the least you could do. Bye, son. Have a blessed day.
And I'm like, I love you. And he's like, I'm like, I said I love you. He's like, I said I love you back, Mom.
Yeah, I love it. That it is the greatest joy when you're dealing with them at this age. The least you can do is embarrass them at school.
I know.
And I'm with you. I'd be like, you know what? You want to keep this up? I'll walk you to class in my pajamas. Your choice.
I had pajamas bottoms on, a nightgown hanging about, halfway out of my sweatshirt and sunglasses on. And so I'm just like, hey, I'll walk you, and flip-flops. So I'm like, hey, where's your first class?
Sexy.
Yeah.
You're keeping it sexy, Paula.
Well, why bother? He's already made it evident that I'm not, the hot gym mom that, works out 5 hours a day with her big ass and, tan legs and fake boobs.
First of all, who are these women and why are they hanging out at a junior high? Like, what is happening?
I don't know. Maybe there's some hot teacher I'm not aware of or something like that.
Is the English teacher hot? You told me he's young.
He's kind of goofy, but he's not ugly, I guess.
Would he look good in a tux? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. He's kind of pale. The vice principal and the principal, actually more the vice principal, he's pretty smoking. So
maybe these mothers are like, hello, Mr. Kendricks. So I was just wondering if my son could possibly... I need that sign-up sheet again. I'll volunteer for any dance. You never know.
Oh, yeah. We got the volunteer sheet. And I'm like, ooh, Ryan. I'm like, what do you want me to... I'm like, maybe I'll volunteer for all the dances. I'll bring a balloon and be like, save room for Jesus. And he's like, Mom, don't.
One time Dad threatened me and I'm like, Dad, no. And he fucking did it.
Oh, that just volunteered. I'm surprised you even said no. I just would have looked at him and be like, whatever you think is best.
No, I was like, Dad, no. And he's like, oh, I'm doing it now. So he signed up and volunteered. I hated him so much.
That was your mistake.
It was high school. It was high school.
Well, at least you didn't bring Wendy and they started dancing or something like that.
Like at your wedding.
Did they dance at my wedding? Which one?
Yes.
I don't know.
The first
he wasn't
one.
at the second one. Never mind.
No, the first one.
Oh, God. What a drag.
That's funny. Anyway, so football season has arrived.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it. Is it still preseason or is it like regular now?
It's regular. The first game aired on Monday night.
Regular.
Oh, no, Thursday night. Thursday night football started.
Are you ready for some football?
Here's what's really funny. So on the Monday night or Thursday night football, when it's on primetime, they always, every year, they have a hot blonde. It was Carrie Underwood and Faith Hill Forever. Mm-hmm. And both of them have now retired. So the next blonde that they brought in to kick off the primetime football nights, Meghan Trainor.
Are you kidding me? That fat
No.
fuck?
Yes. She's not fat. She's just average. But they try so hard to make her hot. They try so hard to make her a thing.
She's not. She's like fugly.
The woman has... Okay, first of all, the woman has lost copious amounts of weight.
Oh, okay.
But she still looks thick, which is fine, except she has a weird body. That's the thing. She's not real tall and she's not super curvy.
She's kind of squatty.
She's kind of just thick everywhere and there's no hourglass per se. So, they've tried to dress her in a million different types of styles. They've put extensions in her hair. She's been brown. She's been blonde. She is airbrushed to death. And the thing is, from what I understand, Meghan Trainor was a very successful writer, a pop song writer.
Yeah.
And then she could sing a couple tunes. And so they said, you should have your own album. And so she did this retro album. And it was very popular for a minute. And now they're still trying to make her a thing. And it's the same thing they're trying to do with that horrific Camila Cabello, who I cannot stand.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so last night was the first game. It was Green Bay versus Chicago. Mm-hmm. Terrible, terrible, boring game. But the guy who sang the national anthem was ridiculous.
Who was it?
His name was Jim something. He's not famous. But the dude sang it so good. I retweeted it, so look on Twitter, you'll see the video.
Okay.
People were literally screaming and cheering. He was so into it. Even the football players, usually that's a time when they're kind of like zenning and getting ready to fight.
Adjusting their package and stuff.
They were singing. Like everybody was into it. It was so cool. One of the coolest renditions I've seen in a really long time. So if you find it, you should watch it. It's really, really inspiring, actually.
That's awesome.
I'm one of those people, like, I'm not a hardcore patriot or anything, but when I see someone sing the national anthem good, I start to cry.
I did too. I was just going to say, I'm like, sometimes I'll totally cry.
I just go, I love it. It's so good. It's just insane. Okay, well, listen, it's good.
Okay, I'll listen to it.
It's good.
That guy is really bald.
On the side note, sadly, my fantasy football league is over. It ended.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, everybody who I play with could be my father.
Yes.
And the guy that brought me in, unfortunately, suffered a stroke a couple of years ago.
You told me that.
Yes. And although he did sit in with the speaker the last year, I don't know if he's necessarily taken a turn, but the recovery is, he had a setback, and I think it really set him back. Aww. And so he was kind of the originator of the league. And the guy that is running it, he's like, you know what, guys, last year he wanted to not do it. But everybody's like, no, let's do it one more time. And this year he's like, look, guys, if you want to keep doing it, you guys take over. I'll be happy to do that for you, but I'm done doing it.
Right.
I was actually ready to give my seat to his son, because his son has been trying to get in for a while. And I'm like, you know what? I'll be the sub. You can be the guy. Because I'm kind of done, because the guy that got me into it isn't playing anymore, and he was really the reason why I wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So things just started kind of falling apart. And age, I think, has a lot to do with it. But they had been playing for like 30 years. So they're like, it's been a run. It's been a good run, you guys. It's done.
Aww.
I do feel a little weird this season not having anything invested in anything. But it's okay. I was kind of ready to let it go.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you finally made it. I mean, that was always the goal. So
it was a goal. And I almost won. I came in second place one year.
I know.
Yeah, and they all conspired against me.
They couldn't let a girl win.
They're like, we cannot let a girl win this league, you guys. So they all conspired against me that year. They're like, Gordon, you have to beat her.
That's funny.
They helped him so much. I'm like, you guys are dicks. Well, they're like, sorry, I'm not sorry.
Maybe you should start your own league, or maybe not. I don't know. It sounds like it's kind of a lot of work.
It's super fun, but there's ways to do online leagues. So maybe next year we'll do an ugly league. But
I don't know anything about it. So I'd be like, I'll take the guy in the green and white.
And you know what that means? Is you'd be like, well, I really like the way he looks. He has good hair. I'll take him. What number is he? 3? Okay, I'll take 3. It's like, no, Paula, you can't have 3 kickers.
That guy has a big cup. I bet his dick is really big. I'll take him.
You will probably win because you don't know anything.
He's got big balls.
I'll take that one. They're like, God damn it, Paula, you won. So
yay, the big
maybe someday. Yeah, maybe we will do a fantasy football league. That'd be super fun, actually. I think we'd have a good time. Okay, by the way, I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast this morning before we recorded, and he is obsessed with the Quentin Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's seen it twice. He goes, I can't stop thinking about it. He goes, hands down the best movie Leo DiCaprio has ever done. It's his best work ever. And I immediately thought of you and said, we need to go see it.
I don't know about that. I mean, just from what I've seen, it's just, I don't see it.
You've never seen it. How can you even gauge?
I know, but just by the trailer,
Oh, please, Paul.
It doesn't appear to be like. Well, I mean, I could be wrong.
You can't go by that. You've got to give it a fair shake. You've got to see it.
I swear to God, Jamie, if anything happens with that fucking Tate murder, I'm gonna stab my eyes out.
Then maybe you should wait till it comes out on DVR or like digital, so you can watch it at home. So you can like.
That's how I watch everything. I don't watch anything in the theaters.
That's true. Okay, so this is really funny to me. Like you, where you can always seem to fall into cameras when news crews are around, you end up getting interviewed. You end up on TV more than anyone I've ever met.
All the time.
Yeah, more than anyone I've ever met. You fall into, they're like, oh, hello, miss, may we have a word? And you're like, yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, you do that all. It's so funny to me.
Even when I worked at the TV station, they invited me to be on camera.
I know. And so, side note, there's a brewery. Tyler is big on custom brews, whatever.
Not Budweiser or whatever.
Yeah, he likes going to these craft brewery places, and there's a lot in Northern California. So he was at one with his girlfriend, and they were having a nice conversation sitting along the window at the bar having a nice beer. And the news was there because the owner of this brewery is complaining about how service is slow because he thinks it's the homeless problem. But he also had to admit he doesn't invest in any marketing. He doesn't do anything to promote his business. I'm like,
don't think it's a homeless problem. I think it's because
this is a
nobody knows
non-story.
where you are.
Exactly.
You are.
And the fact that Tyler and his girlfriend were the only people in the bar, I don't know. So Tyler was on TV is my point. And so it was really cute. And I said, Tyler, you're famous. And so, but anyway, I tend to find people having bizarre conversations or they say stupid shit and I hear it. And I'm deaf. And so if I hear it, it's loud, probably.
Right.
Anyway, we were at the airport on our way home from San Diego. And there was this older gal. She was probably in her 70s, late 70s. And she was with her son. And she turned, we're in line to get on the plane. And she goes, do you think I should call Peggy and let her know we're coming? And I'm like, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Well, you're just going to show up at this poor woman's door? And she's like, and she starts, I mean, she's got like a total attitude. She's like, I don't want to eat dinner with her, but I guess we need to at least have lunch, right? And her son is like, like, this is normal. This is normal for her.
Whatever, Mom.
And so she's like, ugh. So we're on the plane and she happens to sit in front of us. And there was a lot of heavy sighing. She gets on the plane. She's like, hi, this message is for Peggy. Yes, Peggy. So we're on our way. I guess we'll have dinner with you. Just give her that message. Thanks. Bye.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, who is Peggy? This poor woman. I was like, my God, you're a pain in the ass.
Seriously.
Apparently she's having dinner with her the night we were arriving. So when we're leaving, I'm like, okay, I need to hear what happens. Like, I need to know if Peggy calls and says, don't even bother. Like, I had to know. Unfortunately, this woman had a cane, so she walked really slow. So I couldn't keep up with, she didn't keep up with us. So we were getting our baggage and she's sitting there with the sourest face I've ever seen, holding her cane on a bench, waiting for her son to grab their bags.
Maybe she was hungover. I don't know.
Or maybe she's just a sour old bitch.
I don't know. Maybe
but
she
I
needs
was like,
wine.
God,
I don't know.
I'm like, I don't want to have dinner with you. Peggy doesn't deserve this. Anyway, so then a couple days ago, I had to go to the dentist to have my bite guard adjusted.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and it was a really busy day in the office. Oh. There were a lot of people having significant procedures. So they can do surgeries in this office. So some of the rooms where I was in the back, there's no equipment or anything. It's kind of like a waiting area. But back there's two areas where they can do surgeries, basically. And so I'm sitting there and they're like, okay, Lori, we're going to give you a nice hot towel for your face. It's going to feel so good. And then when you're feeling better, we'll call your husband and he can come and get you. And she's like, okay, thank you. And she's completely out of it. And then the doctor comes in. He goes, okay, well, I think you did really well. I think you need to take a couple days, relax. And she goes, you're my most favorite doctor in the whole wide world. And her mouth is full of gauze.
Did she get her wisdom teeth pulled or something?
Probably. And she's like, you're my favorite doctor in the whole wide world.
Oh,
really loud.
I hope if I have something like dental surgery, I hope I just don't talk. The odds of that happening are very, very low, but
that is my biggest fear, is being so out of it with anesthesia that you start talking like truth
kind of
serum.
like I did when I told Mom about my great sex life with Victor when I was heavily sedated with pain medication.
Oh my God. I do worry about that. I worry about what I will admit under some kind of anesthesia. Like, when it's time to get a colonoscopy and they give you that Twilight stuff.
Oh, you just get knocked out. You don't.
Actually, my biggest fear about having a colonoscopy in the future is that you have to like fart to get all the gas out.
That's what they told me, but I didn't really notice an excess of air. So I don't know if like they just didn't have to pump it up that full or what the deal was. But like I've seen videos where like, of course, guys take it to a fucking extreme and just like, just seize an opportunity to be disgusting. But
even in their drugged state,
oh God, I remember this video. I don't know what this guy had done. I don't think it was a colonoscopy, but he was like way out of it. And he's just like, are you my nurse? And she's like, no, I'm your wife. And he's like,
oh, I saw
He's
that.
like, man, I hit the jackpot.
You're so hot.
He's just like, he's like, do we have kids? And she's like, no, we don't have kids yet. And he's just like, wow. He's like, so, like, we sleep together? And she's like, yes. She's like, eat your crackers. And he's like,
That is
"Man."
so funny.
Like, how cute would that be?
That is adorable.
No.
I'd be like, hi,
fucking
he's
happened
mine
to
for life,
me.
you guys. That's so cute. Oh, speaking
know.
of, here's producer Deb. He's going to get his hair cut.
Oh.
Mwah.
Bye.
Say hi to Neil.
Say hi to Neil. Bye. He's like, can I come say goodbye? Like, yes, fine.
Aw.
Anyway, so yes, it was funny. I just love hearing when I hear those little vocal drops that happen in the world, and I get to listen. It makes me laugh. I was laughing at this lady, and what's really funny is they don't even acknowledge it. Like, they don't even say anything. They just let her talk.
Yeah.
When I used to do nitrous all the time. I don't do nitrous anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel, but
What, like out of control?
well, I start laughing for no reason.
Oh, God.
And the one time I did, I started laughing, and I turned, and the nurse like quickly turned and looked at me. I was like, oh shit, now I'm embarrassed, because it made no sense.
Mom was in the lobby one time. I was laughing so hard. She said she could hear me, and she just was like, had her head lowered and her like hand on her forehead.
She's like, oh shit.
She's just like,
Nothing normal.
That's my daughter.
Nothing normal in our world. That's so funny.
Well, what I was going to tell you about airports is, for some reason, whenever I go to airports by myself, I always get picked up on. Like, always.
Oh.
And not just to the point of like, someone talking to me at a bar, but like if there's like a layover or something, they'll like walk me to my gate, stand there or sit down and talk to me for a while. Like they're going to try and make something happen. I'm like, what, do you think I'm going to fuck you in the bathroom or
disgusting
something?
place.
But I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about airports. Guys just think it's like, international waters or something like that.
Maybe. Well, you know what? It's like, well, she's a woman of adventure. She's a world traveler.
I don't know. I remember meeting
don't
this
know.
guy in Chicago, and all of our flights got canceled, and we wound up having to go to a hotel. I don't know
God.
if his flight got canceled or what happened, but
Paula, did you do it? Did you fuck him?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I remember him telling me that he said he was in sales, and I'm just like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, well, I work for, it was the name of some candy company. And I'm like, that's interesting. I'm also, you sell candy? He's like, no, I sell flavors. And no, he said, I sell colors. I'm like, you sell colors?
Colors?
And he says,
colors.
he says, I sell colors to different companies. So if
I feel like he's lying.
no, it was really interesting. He said, so if they need like, he says, you can read the back of a label and it says includes like red number 5 or something like that.
Yes.
He says, I'll sell red number 5 or
I got
whatever
it.
to a company. And I'm just like, that is so interesting. Like I thought
There's
that
a
was,
job for everything.
well, you would have never thought. And I'm just like,
No.
that is like really legit interesting. Like who would have
Yes.
thought? I'm like, so what is the price for red number 5? Like how much does that cost?
Yeah, that is weird.
And then he offered to buy me a drink. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Good for you. Good for you. You should.
I was single,
That's exactly what you
so
should do.
he was not, but
Are there ever any? No, they're all pigs.
I didn't care.
Always. Oh, and then the other thing, when we landed in San Diego, we were leaving, and you basically there are people who are arriving, and then when you are getting ready to fly out of San Diego, you kind of cross paths because it's a really super small airport.
Oh yeah, it's like a shared gate.
Well, that, and it's also when you're walking towards TSA, the baggage claim is like right there.
Yeah.
So Daryl and I are walking to get into the security line, and there's a mom with these 2 little boys. They were probably like 7 and 8, and they were being like crazy monkeys. And so she grabs them by their shirts and she walks them over to the like way away from the baggage claim. She goes, "Your father is going to wring your necks. Get over here!" I laughed so hard. I was like, "Oh my god, traveling with children." It's hilarious. I haven't heard anyone say that your father's going to wring your necks.
Yeah, she must have been an
made me
older
laugh.
mom or something.
I don't know. Well, she wasn't that old, but I mean, she wasn't 20. But it was just, it made me laugh.
I don't think I've ever used that. Wait until your father gets home.
Never. Oh, please. Are you kidding? Daryl always maintains, he goes, it's really funny to me because when boys come over to meet the parents or whatever, and we've met several young men in our life. Whenever they come over, they're so afraid of Daryl. They have no idea I'm the one to be feared.
Why would they be afraid of Daryl?
because he's the
It's like
dad.
being afraid of the teddy bear. I mean,
Yeah, but he's the father. And if they're a decent kid, they know that the dads could kick their ass if they hurt their daughter.
I guess.
Which is true, by the way. Daryl's no pussy, but he's not like a giant 6'3", 200-pound dude, but he is their father. So there's a healthy respect. And I said, it really chaps my hide that they're afraid of you and not me, because they have no idea I'd cut him in a minute. And he's like, well, he goes, I kind of like it that way because they'll never know where it's coming. Ever. Right. I'm like, that's true, I suppose. Plus, I'm not trying to like take anything away, from Daryl being the father.
I mean, that's that. Mm-hmm. I get that. Yeah. And I imagine a lot of it will be the same with Victor because, he's in the military. He has his uniform on and, has his whatever, weapons and stuff. And so they're going to think like, oh my God, this guy's going to kick my ass. I'm like, yeah, right.
You have no idea how mean I am, but that's okay.
I know I look small and,
You'll
nice.
stand there, you'll walk out the door with your cocktail, like, so this is the one, huh?
I will stab you in the throat with my fingernail.
And the thing is that boys just have no concept. They have no idea that mothers will absolutely annihilate them.
Yeah, they
that's
just
okay.
don't get that yet. They don't understand the whole mama bear thing.
No, they will though, but it's usually when they're much older. Okay, so finally, before we move on to our ugly and awkward moments of the week, and I know I have one. I don't know I'm sure you have one.
I do. I think I had several, but I've forgotten most of them. So, but I do have the solid one.
Okay. So fall fashion. Every year I'm always excited thinking that there will be something that surprises me that I'm really excited about. And the one thing is, the fashion week comes out and there's all these bizarre things. Like we saw the heels where the one big toe sticking out like a hole in the sock.
I don't know what that is.
That was ridiculous, and I would never, ever wear it. Like, no, stop it. Stop it. Nobody wants that. No one wants to see one toe. That's stupid.
Or even when they were closed toe, it still was like a one leather toe, and then the rest of them covered in like other leather or something.
It's dumb. It's like, why are we highlighting this? Like, what is the point of this? And then I keep seeing these camel shoes where it's like, it looks like a butt, and it's just like there's one hump and then another hump, so there's just like one line, so it looks like a camel foot.
Yeah,
have you seen those?
It's literally camel toe. I don't know.
Can we stop? Yeah, it's like, can we stop with that? Nobody wants that.
Well, it's just
stop it.
It's like, did we run out of ideas this year? What happened? Did we not meet the deadline on time? So we're just like, let's just throw a stitch between this loafer.
You're kind of fashion it. It's like, okay, no, don't touch anything. There it is. That's it. That's the style.
Time is up. Thank you, mood.
So they're right. And so now I have 5 ugly fall fashion trends that we're going to see in 2019.
Okay.
Number 1, shoulder pads.
Okay.
AKA Dynasty and Working Girl shoulder pads.
Okay.
Big ass shoulder pads.
Yes,
and I'm like, of course
that.
we are. Number 2, capes.
That was number 1 on mine.
Capes, darling.
All
and
sorts
I'm like,
of capes.
I'm not doing it. I tried a poncho once and I looked stupid. I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
Super popular. What, in like the early 90s, maybe? Or
they have come and gone in different ways. Yes, they're not my fave. I don't like them at all. They're awful.
They look like tablecloths from El Torito's.
They do.
With a hole in the middle.
Yeah, I don't like it. We're like walking tree skirts. It's stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, unless you're like, Gigi Hadid or something, where everything looks amazing on you.
Yeah.
Right. Number 3, lugs. The chunky combat boot is back.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, now I'm cool with it, actually. I love Doc Martens. I love the lug look. Personally, I have, throughout my adult life, purchased fashionable construction boot, like timber, what are the Timberlands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like that look, personally. And I've always worn hiking boots as a fashion style. Even back in the 90s, I loved that look.
I always have combat boots, but I wouldn't say they're like, an outrageous sole or anything like that. They're always just, a combat boot.
Yeah, it's all about the sole this year, apparently.
I got you. I have no sole.
Yeah, no more Ariana Grande hip length boots, but I don't care because I still have them and I like
wear
those too.
I love them.
Yeah, I love those. Number 4, lace and neon tights.
Yeah,
like Madonna.
They said something about gemstone colors. So lots of like colors, whether it's pastel or bright, they just said lots of colors.
Yeah, like neon or bright sapphire or whatever. Yes. I won't ever do that.
No.
My legs are too thick. My thighs, no, that would look really bad.
Nobody wants to see anybody with hot pink legs.
A 10-year-old can do it, and it's adorable.
Sure.
But, I mean, Malia, I'm like, Malia, you want some magenta tights? She's like, I'm sorry, what? No.
Olivia wouldn't even wear those. She'd be like, what is this?
No. And the number 5, bucket hats, like Gilligan.
I saw those, and I was just like, okay, who wears hats? Like, really?
Well, if you live somewhere where it's raining a lot, I can see like New York or Seattle or something like that. I can see that being a nice change from, I don't know, whatever else
an umbrella
you would be wearing. Yeah, I'd be wearing an umbrella personally, but
the rest of you is getting wet.
I don't know. I don't like a bucket hat. I think I look like a drowned rat in a bucket hat.
I would think so. Well, I mean, I have a really small head, so that's kind of dumb on me because
you would look like you were wearing your mom's hat.
Like even baseball hats, if I pull them all the way down, my ears like flap out because they come all the way down like past my ears. And then I have to tuck my ears in, and then that looks weird. So I don't know.
Right. It's all a mess. I just wear baseball hats. I always, every once in a while, I get a wild hair and I buy a cowboy hat. I don't know why. I'm never wearing it anywhere. I'll never have it.
You buy a what?
I'll never go out cowboy hat. I'm never wearing it out. I just have it. I bought one in Canada, this beautiful white felt cowboy hat. I've never worn it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
You ever cut your bangs really short, then you have it on standby.
Yes. Note to Neil, if you ever cut my hair and I have bangs, I'm wearing the hat.
Okay. So what I saw.
What did you get?
Oversized suits.
Oh, I saw that.
I saw a ton of those, and they have them like cinched at the waist with these like really tight belts. But
so we all look like
a lot of
people.
them did have the big shoulder pads.
Yes.
A lot of things in plaid, including the oversized suits, but other things in plaid. So it kind of reminds me of like the whole Benetton era.
Benetton, yeah, for sure.
Like all of that stuff's kind of coming back.
Yep.
A lot of high neck stuff. No more like cleavagey things, more like the ruffled lace neck, high neck things.
I saw a lot of Holly Hobby dresses. In some of the fall edits.
And they were talking about like dark flowers, like the dead kind of looking flower look, like potpourri kind of style.
Yeah.
So that would make sense, like the Holly Hobby look, because that was something. One of the things they were talking about was like fringe/feathers. But I don't know if you saw too much of that.
They try to do that every fucking year, and it never works. No one ever does it. I was a fool and bought a leather fringed purse once. It was dumb. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, that's a statement." I'm like, "Okay, that's it. I'm never wearing this. Never bringing this purse out to see the light of day ever again."
And then they're talking about asymmetrical shoulder, but this one was like just outright no shoulder. So it was just like a free arm just kind of flapping in the breeze.
Oh, like one shoulderless
like it
shirt?
just been hacked off. Yeah.
I can't wear those because I have big boobs.
Well, yeah, I need a bra. I can't.
I could never wear
the
it.
ladies like sag or whatever. So I don't know. Oh, obviously models have no boobs, so they can.
Well, they can wear everything.
Just put Band-Aids on their nipples and be free. But
if that,
yeah, I know.
They don't really need to.
So yeah, it'll be an interesting year. Probably nothing I'll be wearing.
The thing is, everything like history and fashion are cyclical. We go through the same trends every like 20 to 30 years. It's the 80s, so my generation is seeing a resurgence of scrunchies and neon and lace and Madonna and all that stuff. And so it's like, I didn't hate that stuff back then, but I was more of a grunge girl. So I like the plaid and the black and the combat boots and stuff like that.
Yeah, this definitely reminds me of like late 70s, early 80s.
For sure, late 70s. Yeah.
And like working girl and,
yes.
What was that? Moonlighting. And
I'm really excited to see if people start getting perms again.
Oh my God, no.
I will not, but I'm just curious.
I don't think that will happen. I mean, people are pretty happy with the extensions, but I wonder if haircuts will start getting shorter. I don't know.
Oh God, I can't with the short hair. I can't. Anyway, all right, well, let's do our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
Since we didn't really record much before or since school started. My ugly and awkward moment happened like the week before school started when we were school shopping. Mm-hmm. I had mentioned we were going to Ross, and the kids and I, we were always goofing off and like, you know, talking about the movies we've seen or comedy or just quoting lines and stuff like that. And so Ryan and I were hopping out of the car. Olivia was getting out of the car, and we were talking about Richard Jenny.
Oh.
We were talking about that part where he picks up his microphone stand. And he's like, imagine if you see something coming out of the trees and it's like, hee hee. And then and he's just like, what the hell was that? And it's half woman, half man, you know? And so
oh my God.
we're talking about when Michael Jackson came out of the trees, you know? Do you remember that part when he was golfing?
No, but that's okay. Continue.
And so he's like, so you're golfing, you hit your ball into the woods, and all of a sudden you hear this hee hee, and then all of a sudden
I do remember.
You see this naked thing swinging through the branches, and you're just like, what the hell was that? And it's half man, half woman. And so we were talking about that, and as we were crossing the street, and Ryan was about to say half black, half white. Well, just as he was about to say that, literally there was like 7 black people that came out of Ross. And so I put my hand up and I slapped it against his chest and I'm like, Ryan! Not that there's anything wrong with the comedy, but I just didn't want him saying that line. Like,
it could have easily been taken out of context.
I just thought it could have been like misconstrued as like the wrong thing. And so I didn't want to offend anyone. And
totally get it.
But it was just funny because I slapped him in the chest and I screamed, Ryan! Really loud.
That's
and
funny.
we were in the road and he's just like, and he looked at me and he's like, Mom, I wasn't going to say it. And I'm like, okay,
you never know.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
It was really funny, actually. Afterwards,
that's hilarious.
We laughed about it for quite a while, but
I would have laughed. That's hilarious. So funny.
Anyways, if you haven't seen that, you have to watch Richard Jenny, A Big Steaming Pile of Me.
Yeah, I do remember that. It's just it had been a while.
So that was mine.
So mine happened in San Diego, of course, because I can't go anywhere without embarrassing myself. So we were at this really nice restaurant. We were meeting Nick and Janelle for dinner.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a two-stepper. So we got there and we had a reservation and our friends were sitting at the bar. They saw us, so they came over. We're like, oh my God, hi, hi, hi. And so then the maitre d' or whatever said, okay, yes, right this way. So I'm leading the way, which is always a mistake because I shouldn't ever be the one leading the way.
I have to follow someone. I mean, aside from like the person leading us.
Right. I should be last so that I can kind of gauge what's going to happen.
I need to be in the middle of the chain gang.
At least, right? And so unfortunately, because these two people are gentlemen, Nick and Daryl are gentlemen, they're like, no, after you. So it's me, Janelle, and then them, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm walking. So in front of me is a guy, and he's getting ready to clean off this table. So I think this is our table. So I stop, and I'm waiting for him to wipe down the table, and I'm just standing there. And Daryl from way in the back, he's like, no, I don't think that's our table. You got to keep following the lady down there, down there. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So I walk by the guy. Not only did I ass hit him, I hip checked him because he was cleaning this table. So get your
butt out of the way.
I have a big ass, okay? And so I hip checked him. And then as I kept walking, because now I'm trying to catch up with the lady, because she's like, choo, choo, choo.
Oh, she didn't bother to like look behind her to make sure you guys were all following.
She's swiftly walking to our table.
Bad hostess, I mean.
So I'm walking, trying to catch up with her like a little duckling. And of course, on the way, hip check somebody sitting in their chair.
How small is this place?
Well, it was narrow, but I'm clumsy and, you know, my child abuse was acting up. And so I was clumsy. So finally I sit down and I'm like, oh my God, it was like so awkward. There was nothing normal about me just getting to a chair and sitting down. So then when I sit down, I'm trying to scoot my chair in and it feels like it's like nailed to the floor because it's really heavy. But it was just a really heavy chair, so it wouldn't move. So I'm like, I'm like, all right, never mind. This is it.
You're
this
like,
is what I'm doing
here.
now.
It's okay. I'll be 8 inches away from the table. This
will just be who I am, right? God, I was a mess. This
is why I get really nervous when I go to like, I guess like boutique restaurants, like not chain restaurants, because I'm just like, this is not going to end well. Like, not at all.
And it's like I have impeccable manners and a table. You know, like I understand how to be in public. but my body just does not want to cooperate. It's like once I'm sitting, like I even had to like go to the bathroom. Like, God, I really don't want to go to the bathroom. I kind of want to just deal with it.
No, I just want to stay here. Yeah, I don't want to
just
move.
Sit. Yeah.
Well, I haven't had enough experience at like original restaurants to where
Like fine dining.
So usually if I'm with someone, like I've been on dates before where we go to like, a exclusive restaurant. And so I'll kind of just like watch them first to see what they do. So I can be like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's how you do it? Oh, okay. I get it now. Yeah. That's pretty much. Yeah. I can do it. It's just the basics, just like walking and eating. It's like, come on, I just want to just be normal. Can I just please?
Oh.
But no.
No, I usually end up like taking a sip of water and spilling it on myself or something stupid, or it'll land right on my boobs. I'm like, oh my God. And I'll start like brushing them and
I can't even tell you how many times I've dropped food down my shirt.
Oh God, I take off my bra and there's like snacks everywhere.
All right, that's it for me.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We will see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.